Okay, how's that volume back there, Jay? Yeah, if I start getting really quiet, hey, you guys, touch the angel's wing. Okay, a little louder. I won't tell anyone to touch an angel's wing, but probably. And we're going, Antonio? We are going. All right. So as I said, welcome everybody. Looks like we got kind of a big night here, which is nice. And we're going to start out with a little bit of movement. So now that you've all arranged, we're going to do some light stretching. So stand back up. This is light stretching, so just do whatever stretching works for you, meaning don't do anything that doesn't feel good. Don't hurt yourself, don't overdo it. Okay, so I'm gonna like lead, but feel free to do less. I think it's a little too loud, Jay. Getting some feedbacky sounds there, at least when I'm standing up. Okay, so to begin with, let's just breathe in and lift our hands up to the sky. This is my chance to show my hairy belly off to the internet. I really get excited about that. No one else does. Stand on your toes, stand on your toes if you can. Reach up, reach up, reach up. And then very slowly come all the way back down, 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 down. If you can, touch your hands to the ground and even go further. Let your neck dangle. Give yourself some indigestion. Remember to breathe while you're in this posture. Then if you can, kind of bend one leg and let the back of the other one stretch. And then switch to the other side. That feels really, really good. And then slowly, slowly, slowly come up. Taking a nice, big, gigantic, deep breath, maybe a couple of those. In fact, let's do those. Feels good. Is it too hot in here? If it is, can knock down the temperature a little bit. I feel fine, but maybe everyone moving around, I don't know. Take a vote, whatever. Okay, next, do kind of a starfish thing. And do some of these one way. And then back the other way. And then if you've got room, big ones, try not to bash anyone in the head. Come back the other way. Just get your arms nice and loose and open. Really enjoy it. Let them be really, really, really loose. And then again, watching out for others. What we're going to do is twist our spine and let our arms be loose like ropes. So it goes like and you want them to hit your torso with a slapping sound. Okay, then retaining the starfish. Do one of these. If you want to, you can eat it, go like that. Come back up nice and slow. Take a breath. You're right, but just in a second. And then you can bring it over if you want. And then come back up. So nothing too difficult. Just trying to feel nice. Okay, you guys ready for thigh stretches? You don't have to do this if you're going to wipe out, but let's see if I wipe out now. Yep. This mat, so I'm going to blame it on the mat. Try to go down like that. There we go. Just get that front of your quad nice and stretched and try not to wipe out like I did. And then switch. Again, if that's too hard, just lightly stretch it like that. Those are great for meditating. Now just do kind of fun foot stretches, like you can just shake it out. Those are going to make your ankles feel really good for sitting for an hour. Then we're going to sit down, but don't sit to meditate yet. Sit with your heels together, like that. It's a lot harder if you just sit flat and then bring them in. And then holding them, doing Baddha Konasana like this, but then do the thing where you take your elbows and spread it even wider and then just kind of like fly like that. So being some kind of spaceship, feel that really good inner thigh stretch. And then I always like to bring it forward and do a forward stretch. Okay. That's it, just a little bit of movement together. If you want, you can cross your legs and do another forward stretch. So even though I'm insisting that you guys don't move or make a sound, I'm going to talk to guide the meditation. So I'll be making some sounds. And I'll also have to move, usually to grab a cup of tea so I can keep speaking. So the rules are a little different depending on whether you're guiding the meditation or not. But not much. I'll try to be as still and quiet in between as possible. Okay, ready? You might want to take your glasses off. Maybe, don't have to. And just make sure you're nice and comfy in your seat. You're good sitting without your cushion? Okay. One last deep breath like this. Let's do 3 of these. Really enjoy it. Huge, deep, gigantic in-breath. Very good. Now just check in with yourself and see how you're doing. Just tune in. Just notice. Ask yourself the question, what's it like to be me right now? How do I feel? How's my mind? How are my emotions? That kind of thing. What's it like in there? What's the weather like? And be really very honest about it. It's just you evaluating. No one's going to ask you what. And so don't kid yourself. What's it really like in there? And at the same time, whatever it is like, let that be for now completely okay. So if you're feeling great, that's okay. If you're feeling awful, that's okay too. Like just let it be fine. So this is kind of a non-judgmental weather report about your own being. And just tune into that and feel it clearly, directly, honestly. Most of the time we're so caught up in what we're doing that we're not just taking the time to sort of ask ourselves, what's it like to be me right now? And then really letting that be okay. Often if we notice what it's like to be ourselves, we then immediately try to change it. So this is the opposite of that. We're immediately totally accepting it. Good. And I'm just going to do a little invocation. So just allow this to just wash over you. Okay, I'll just do this for a few moments. Om Bhurva Swaha Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yona Prachodayat. Good. Now just imagine yourself to be meditating as if you are the sky. You're just a wide open, clear blue sky. How does the sky meditate? However you imagine the sky to meditate, invoke that now. But we can imagine that it's pretty open, very spacious, very clear, very bright. And so just see if you can tune into a sense of real openness and spaciousness. We're not narrowing our attention. The sky doesn't narrow down, the sky opens up. So just meditate like the sky right now, being wide open, really relaxed, really clear, lucid. The sky is also beautiful, right? So see if there's a quality of beauty you can find in that meditation. And just rest as this openness. If you notice your mind bunching up around something, the minute you notice that, just return to openness and just relax. Then it bunches up again around something else, some thought or some feeling or something. And then as soon as you notice that, just let it naturally relax wide open and just rest in that place of wide openness. We don't have to make it open or coax it to be open or somehow cultivate that. It's naturally like that when we don't bunch up around something. The bunching up or constricting or grabbing onto something, that's the effort, that's the tightness, that's the doing. So if we notice any of that happening, we just relax and open. So let's just sit with that for a moment. Now just notice, with the awareness wide open, notice the breath wave rising and falling within awareness. So we're not narrowly attending to the breath at our nose or something like that. You're staying wide open. And just like you can hear the train outside, you're just feeling the breath. There's nothing special about it. But just let the breath be a kind of anchor or as kind of a home base for a while as you just rest in this wide openness, noticing that breath wave rise and fall. It's just rising and falling. And that's kind of our home base. Vast open awareness, rising and falling wave of the breath. As that's going on, just in the background, again, because awareness is wide, this is all able to be noticed. Allow your face muscles to relax. Just let go of any fixed expression. Your jaw can loosen to the point where your upper and lower teeth are not touching. You can let your neck release and relax, your throat open a little bit. And just notice how even that little bit of relaxation allows even more of a sense of spaciousness and ease and rest, right? We don't have to keep our face and throat all tight. It can just be open, it can just be easy, it can just be gentle. Continuing to just notice that rising and falling breath wave. Allow your shoulders to release and relax and let go, and your arms and hands to be as loose as wet noodles, completely without tension. Not even residual background tension, they just go limp. And again, with your face relaxed and your throat and neck relaxed and your shoulders a little bit more released and your arms and hands all loose, notice how that just brings on a much more profound sense of ease and openness. And it just allows you to just drop now into a much more open, easy, relaxed space of gentleness and stillness. Wide open stillness where the breath wave is coming and going in a very pleasant, easy manner. We're just sitting here breathing. It's not that hard. Now notice any tension in your upper back or upper chest and just let that relax as much as you can. Let your heart just open, just melt open. If you're defended or holding yourself back, just commit. Just completely give yourself to the now of this experience and let your heart feel melty and open and maybe a little bit tender and sensitive. And if it's available to you, let your diaphragm relax. Notice the breath wave slowing down, getting much deeper as we get more and more relaxed. In the vast space of the sky of the mind, allow the belly to let go. Release all that belly tension. There's so much. Just relax that and release that and let that be open, undefended. A loose, open belly, not tight, not armored, not waiting for the gut punch, but rather completely open. And something similar in the back, in the kidney region. Just let that open, unfold like an accordion. As the breath wave rises and falls, absolutely naturally and effortlessly in the body. And notice even more of a sense of relaxation and openness rising into the sky of the mind. Even as some things are tense, just notice the openness, notice the relaxation. Let that be very foreground. We're not fighting with the tension, that can be there, but we're just noticing the relaxation. Noticing the openness. Let the pelvic region relax and release and open. The hips and hip joints. And allow the legs and feet to just be as limp as wet noodles, utterly, completely, totally relaxed. And you'll notice as you do that, just like your hands did, maybe your feet get warm up a little bit, because as you relax the muscles, the blood flow increases. They might even kind of tingle. So because you're so relaxed, you could feel some tingliness in your feet and hands, maybe your lips. That's pleasant. That's PT. And because your face and head and neck and shoulders and arms and hands are relaxed, and your torso and belly are all relaxed, and your pelvic region and your legs and feet are all relaxed, just let that relaxation permeate your whole being, bringing you now, because it feels so nice, feels so open, feels so free. Allow yourself to just relax even more completely, even more totally, even more profoundly. Now. And you may notice, because the body and mind are not separate, they're one system, that as your body gets even more relaxed, the mind kind of melts and becomes even more open. The mind itself becomes relaxed and open. It's almost like it melts and turns to a kind of vapor. Instead of a mind of sharp, cold ice, it's now just like steam or mist. Wide awake, very clear, but also very, very porous and relaxed. Now let's just sit with this wide open, completely relaxed mind, very deeply relaxed body, and just allow awareness to naturally notice the breath wave coming and going. If the mind starts to turn to ice again, starts to congeal around some object, just let it relax and open again. Over and over, just every time the fist tightens around a ball, grabs onto a ball to play with, just relax and let the fist naturally fall open and the ball just drops. So let's do that together for a little while. You'll notice maybe that there's a kind of a habit of grabbing onto stuff with your mind. But you'll also notice you don't have to do it. It's not necessary. So if you notice the mind grabbing onto something, oh, I want to think about that, just relax. It's so much easier to just relax and let the thing drift away and the mind come back to this very pleasant, wide openness where there's breathing happening. If you feel tired or whatever, like you're slipping away, just open your eyes or sit up straight. This is not a sleepy meditation. The sky of the mind is bright and clear and crisp, very awake. Good. So I keep talking about the mind. Let your mind return to whatever you believe its rest condition is, however it normally is for you. And then I have some questions for you that I want you to investigate directly. These are not intellectual questions to answer from logic or memory. They're just looking type questions like, is that the color green or whatever? You look and see, that's it. So these are look and see questions about your mind. Everybody has a mind. So the first question is, what is the shape of your mind? Is it a sphere? Is it a cube? Is it shaped like a piece of popcorn? Look now directly at your own mind. What is its shape? What is the shape of your mind? And as you're looking, does it just have one shape or does it change? Is it continuously changing shape? What's the shape? You've got a mind, it must have a shape, right? What shape is it? And if you decide that it does have a particular shape, look and see if it really is that shape or not. What are you finding? What shape is it? Right? It's interesting. Looking directly. Here's another one. Sounds easy, but it might not be. Where's it located? Where's your mind located? And if you say in my head, okay, where in your head? Or if it fills your whole head, is it head shaped? Where is it located? If it's smaller than your head, is it like rolling around in there, or is it kind of suspended in the middle of the head? If so, what's holding it there? Look. It's your mind. You should know. So I assume you found it by now. You know the exact location of your mind. Although if you have found it, it's an interesting question, what's looking at it? But anyway, what's the color of your mind? Is it blue? Is it orange? Maybe you have a brindle mind or something. What color is your mind? or a pattern. Maybe you have a paisley, an orange and purple paisley mind. Let me know if you have one of those. Those are the special people. But what color is your mind, and what pattern does it have? Look. Look clearly now. Okay, good. Then, assuming that's all clear, is your mind located in one spot and still? You found the location, I presume, but is it still or is it moving around? Is your mind moving or still? It's got to be one or the other, right? Look. I'm saying look, but of course you're not using your eyes, so don't screw up your eyes or make them tense or something. This is awareness, simply aware. Is it moving or still? If it's moving, in what way is it moving? Is it bouncing up and down or back and forth or maybe wiggling like jello? What's it doing? How is it moving? Don't move if you don't have to, especially don't make motions that make sounds like cracking your knuckles. Please don't do that. That's just fidgeting. Good. Now, hopefully you noticed that you can't really answer any of those questions. Because no matter how hard you look, you can't actually find your mind. So let's try something different, really different. I want you, with awareness, to search along the back of your head, feeling the inside of the back of your head. Or if you can't feel that, then the scalp on the outside of the back of your head. Feeling carefully along it until you find a place just below your occiput where there's a hole. Feels like there's a hole there. And when you find that, I just want you to get ready to push your mind out the hole. So awareness goes out the back of your head. Don't do it yet, just wait. Find that hole And okay, ready? Now, 1, 2, 3, go. Awareness goes out the back of your head into space. If it snaps back in, then just take a breath and extend it out again, out the hole, out into the space behind your head. And see if you can relax in such a way that it stays there. Notice what it's like back there. It's just kind of vast like the sky, but it's also sort of like just outer space or something. It's like totally empty. There's no walls, there's no floor. There's just like this totally empty space. If you find yourself seeming to inhabit the inside of your skull again, then find that hole again and pop back out the back into space. And just rest there in that openness. That's like the sky again, except it's just this totally empty sky with no walls of any kind, no ground of any kind. There's not an earth, or it's not even blue. Okay, good. Very good. Now, feeling along the back of your neck, come to the place sort of behind your voice box. Somewhere on your neck, there'll be another hole like that in the back. It's like a place you can feel your skin all along, but there's one place you can't feel the skin. That's the hole. So once you found it, then 1, 2, 3, pop awareness out that hole, out into that vast space. No ground at all. Wide open. Can you feel it? That's always there, right behind. Just hanging out in that space. There's no thoughts or feelings there. It's just space. Aware space. Okay, let's try this one more spot. Feel the back of your neck again. Come down your spine, below your shoulders until you come somewhere in the neighborhood of your heart, but in the back of your body. So on your spine, wherever your heart is, there's an opening there. It's bigger, very distinct when you feel it. Once you locate that, we're going to do the same thing, but in this new spot. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Shoot awareness, shoot your mind out that opening into space. Feel the gigantic space. No walls, no ceiling, no ground at all, zero ground. Notice your mind can just be back there in this gigantic space. And the body is almost just like the skin of a balloon on the front of that space. And that vast space back there is very still and very peaceful. Incredibly still. Now notice that the space behind the heart and the space behind that hole in the neck and the space behind the head, it's all one space. Dwell in that space. If you find yourself coming back into the body, just go back out. You know where the holes are, go back out. Rest in space. Wide awake, utterly aware, empty space. All right, we'll do one more. Allow awareness to travel down the spine, way, way down into the pelvic region. We almost never do this one, so this is cool. And in the pelvic region, in the area of the sacrum, you'll notice another opening. And this one's really big. And when you find that, get ready. 1, 2, 3, go. Shoot awareness, shoot the mind out that hole into the space behind, the incredibly vast open space behind. That one, you can really feel the bottomless, groundless emptiness beneath. And notice again how that isn't any different than the space behind the heart or the throat or the head. It's one big space. So notice those other openings in the heart, the neck, the head, all at once. All of them opening out into this vast, vast, vast space. It's almost hard to hold on to being somebody at all when there's that much space. And if you want to, you can just let go. You won't disappear or die. Nothing bad will happen. Just let go and just fall into the space. And then if you get caught up in a thought, you'll snap back. But you know what to do. Just go back out one of these openings into the space. Back into the space. Total stillness, tremendous freedom, wide openness. Good. Now allow awareness to come back into the body, but notice it like new. The feeling of body sensations, how they're just kind of hanging out in that space. It's not like there's some space behind your body. It's like this vast space has this tiny little bit of body sensation arising in it. Pleasant or unpleasant, but vivid and bright, various and interesting, all kinds of body sensations. Emotions, feelings, being nervous or joyous or disappointed or frustrated or whatever, maybe all at once. That's all bright and colorful and interesting. And kind of weird because it's just hanging out in this space. Where does it even come from? And then there's all that thinking. Which so often seems like the center of everything and filling up, but it's not even a minuscule, tiny fraction of that vast space. And yet it's bright, it's got pictures and sounds. It's there, it's flashing through space. Like lightning in a dark sky, coming and going, and yet not coming from anywhere or going to anywhere. So it's not that this empty space is somehow realer than the emotions and thoughts and body, but it's also that the emotions and thoughts and body aren't realer than that space. They come together in a kind of magic show in which anything can arise. That's the thing about the space. Anything can arise from it. Everything does arise from it. So as we get to the end here, I want you to, on purpose, have a particular thought and feeling arise. It's like a wish. And tonight I want you, sometimes we see like peace and healing for the whole world. Tonight I just want you to imagine that everyone in this room experiences physical healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing, to the nth degree, the greatest amount of healing of every kind that they could possibly have. Just allow that wish to arise within you. Everyone here be utterly, totally, permanently healed in every way. It's like a shining wish in the sky of the mind. Our open heart and our perfectly clear minds, just let that wish shine forth. because that's a kind of compassion practice. Let's do the mantra of the Bodhisattva of compassion, Avalokiteshvara, which you probably already know. It's Om Mani Padme Hum. And we'll sing it all together several times. I'll just ring the bell each time. And kind of follow with me at the same time. Om Mani Padme Hum. Really loud. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Just feel that. Very good. Let's end the meditation there for now. Feel free to move and stretch. Those of you who were moving the whole time, now stay perfectly still. And let's just go to questions. A lot of folks here tonight, so if you want to report like how that meditation was for you, great. If you need to run and go to the bathroom, great, go do that. There's at least 3 bathrooms, so go ahead and do that. But if you want to, report on how that was for you, or ask me questions or whatever, let's do that. So don't be shy, raise your hand. I will bite, but it won't hurt that bad. It's only mildly poisonous. So what's going on out there? How'd it go? Sophie.
Very strangely, I think because of the previous experiences and the last times have been very intense, I don't know what happened this time that my mind started shutting off. And as soon as I got relaxed, I started feeling very sleepy. Like really, really sleepy.
Yeah.
And then,
that's like an escape clause.
Yeah, exactly. And then the moment that you said, "Oh, it's almost finished," then I was no longer sleepy.
Right. So you did the right thing, though. You kept your eyes open.
Yeah.
Right, and you sit up straight and do it from there.
Yeah. But I mean, then I did do most of the exercise. I was just very surprised at how much every time I would do it for a little bit, sleepiness.
Right, but you didn't fall over.
I didn't.
Very good. This is gold star. You didn't fall over. There's really kind of 2 things that can happen. Maybe you're just discovering that when you relax, you're really tired. You aren't getting enough rest, and maybe you just need sleep. Right, that's one thing. Or that's another way to not experience what's really, the vastness, because that's been kind of terrifying, right? So this is another
mechanism.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just notice it. The more you notice it, it won't be able to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're not trying to, force you into it. So step by step, everything's cool. Just little by little, it will start feeling comfortable. relaxed and open, your mind shuts off, or at least, gets quieter. It'll start to feel really nice. So excellent. Very, very good. And you keep showing up. So another gold star for bravery. Yeah, excellent. Good. So what else is going on out there? Yes. What is your name again?
Sam.
Sam. I'll ask you every time because it's a new group.
This is going to be somewhat hard to talk about, I think, but the exercise of moving out of the holes redirected was very interesting in that, in one sense, it didn't really feel like awareness was going anywhere.
Sure.
Though in imagination, it was as if that was happening. And somehow that did amplify the awareness of the space. It was like doing it in imaginal space.
Did it? God, it's so weird.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happens imaginally. Don't really go anywhere. That space was always there. And yet it's as if one is moving out into that space.
Yeah. And so it helps facilitate noticing that, right? Absolutely. The funny thing is, when we're talking about the mind, imagination counts. That's your mind, right? So it's not like lots of meditation traditions, they kind of throw out imagination. Don't do that. That's just thinking. But actually, it's not just, it's interesting. It's useful. Can be anyway. So very good. Was there more to say about that?
That's it.
That's it. Thanks for pointing that out. How'd it go?
Yeah, it's interesting how what is extremely obvious isn't always extremely obvious.
It's the most obvious thing in the world, but we're contracting down onto other things, right? As soon as we kind of let go of that toy for a minute, you'll start noticing, oh, the thing that's always there, right? There's a lot of toys. TikTok is really interesting, and super important. But you let go of it, it's like, oh, okay, there's this vast space of the mind there. So yeah, it's the most obvious thing there is. Very good. Thank you, Sam. What else is going on out there? Questions, comments, reports, movie reviews? Yes. What is your name?
Jules.
Jules. Hi, Jules.
Hi. I definitely noticed there was sort of this constant balance of having to self-regulate to make sure that I felt physically comfortable and that I didn't start tensing up. But the other really interesting thing that stuck out to me was that as I was convincing myself that the space around me was as real as the space inside me, it started to feel very intuitively weird that I could only experience my own sensations, and everything was just contained to me, and that I couldn't feel other people. So that was quite surprising.
You mean other people's physical sensations?
I think so, or just
because you can see the room, right? So that's a sensation outside you. You can hear the room, right? So you might not be able to feel the itch on my knee. I think that's what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? There's little local areas of contraction, sort of, but there's also all this other experience out there. Very cool. Is there questions about that, or just kind of a report?
I guess the question is whether or not it gets easier to not always be feeling slightly itchy.
Depends on, your diet or whatever, but or whatever is causing itchiness, even if it's just psychological. But what does get easier is not being bothered by it, right? So for example, if I sit still like this long enough, my legs will go to sleep. And that feels kind of tingly, not itchy, but tingly, right? But eventually, it's not hurting my legs for that to happen. They're not going to turn blue and fall off or something. They just feel tingly for a minute. And then I just let them do it. And then after a while, they don't do that anymore. So you just kind of get used to it, the itchiness or discomfort. Lots of people are kind of wiggling a lot. It's like eventually you just kind of get used to the discomfort and stop wiggling, and it actually makes it less, not more. So yeah, it's just kind of do a lot of it. Yeah. But that feeling of, there's lots of stuff, maybe kind of a contracted feeling, or there's these certain discomforts that are background most of the time, but when we sit, they kind of foreground for a while, and then eventually your brain is like, well, that's always there, and it sort of just shuts it off. Good. What else? Any burning questions? Yes. What is your name?
Drew.
Drew.
Yeah. I just noticed with like the sort of melty, like relaxing into your body thing, that it just felt really good.
It does.
But in a way that was sort of like a narcotic, just like I wasn't sure if I was just sort of melting into that feeling of feeling good without being more aware.
Yeah. So how'd you know you felt good?
Right.
Yeah. So just don't fall asleep.
Yeah. That wasn't an issue. I didn't feel sleepy. I just
Good.
felt
really relaxed. But notice there's kind of a feeling like maybe relaxation is bad. So just even flirt with just narcoticing out on relaxation. But then if it feels like, wow, maybe I went too far with that, how do you know you're relaxed, right? Just notice that you're totally aware of the relaxation. Okay. And it can be the case that you start to actually go into hypnagogia or whatever, and then just come out of it. Although later, when your awareness is really clear, you can even go into that and stay awake, or even into dream and be awake, right? So that's why we're not quite so afraid of that in here, right? I mean, we don't want to just sleep when we meditate, but notice the awareness part. More? This is the report corner. The rest of the room is really failing. Other stuff going on out there? So this side just nothing, right? Yes, Steve. Uh-huh. What does that mean? Well, all you notice is space and stillness, so they're not doing anything. You mean you couldn't go out them? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And so you can notice space behind your body right now? Yes or no? Sure. Do you notice space inside your body? Is there anything between those two spaces? That's the whole. It's just a really big one. Okay? Yeah. I already know, you know how to do the space, so it's just a big hole, right? There you go. Thanks for your report. Yes, Jay.
I just imagined the holes. I wasn't sure if they were there or not.
They're there.
Yeah.
Were you able to go out?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was able to get the vast space. I was already like everywhere.
Hmm?
I got the perception of the vast space behind more. Yes.
Yeah. And then you notice we did 4 holes, and then we have all of those open at once. But eventually where it would go to is what I was describing to Steve, where you just notice there is just space back there, and there's no boundary at all. Right? Very good. You imagined it. What about your mind? What shape and size and color? And anybody got a purple and orange paisley mind? I keep looking for those. What'd you notice about your mind? Yes. What's your name? Alex.
Yeah. In the class on Monday, the teacher was talking about like the developmental patterns, how it kind of evolves.
We have a meditation class on Monday.
It's a movement.
Oh,
Study yeah. So he was like EMC, and he was talking about like basically like the front part develops into your viscera.
Yes.
Your middle part goes into musculoskeletal system, and your external part is your skin. Your skin and your brain, like are kind of come from the similar zone, I guess,
Okay.
developmentally, according to him. And so it just kind of got my like thinking about it like that, the shape of when I was like kind of playing with shape of mind, it kind of distributed out throughout the entirety of my body. And it kind of like I kind of felt like this like when I was doing like a visualization, it was sort of like this like glowing tendrily thing that was vaguely shaped in my like sack of skin.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so without a visualization, what shape is your mind?
Well, I mean, it doesn't. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the direction. Just notice you can't find a shape. The other thing is very cool as a visualization and probably really useful for energy stuff and all that. The main thing to notice is, I mean, you can't find a shape, you can't find a color, you can't find a location, you can't find what's holding it up, you can't find what size it is, because it's not a thing. You have a mind, but it's not an object, right? But I can say that over and over and it doesn't mean anything. But when you actually search and look carefully, it in those categories that we use for objects, right? You can't find it. Or is it moving or still? You can't even answer that, right? Not if you look closely. It's very odd. So the fact that we are a mind or have a mind or however you want to say it is, there it is. You're having an experience, but you can't find any object qualities about it. So that's kind of what we're pointing to there. Everybody understand that? Anybody? So I kind of want to hang out doing the like sparkle jellyfish thing you're describing. It's like a cool visualization. But you can do that because there is no shape to your mind, right? You can visualize anything. So anybody else like find a particular, yes.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Josh.
Josh.
Hey.
Hi.
I noticed that there's such a strong temptation to like imagine something at the center of me that's like contacting something else in my awareness. And the more that I was looking for like where is the mind, then sometimes like an emotion would arise and it'd be like, oh, that's just like in my stomach. Like there's not like a thing in the center that's like touching the thing in my stomach. It's just, and then that started to like open things more and
That's the direction exactly. Like, and especially if you find a spot where your mind is, well, what's looking at the spot? Oh, it's a new spot over here. Well, is that where it is? You can't land anywhere, right? And actually, if you look at that emotion closely, you can't find a spot really. In a kind of even sort of high res way, it'll be in a certain area, but if you go right to the center of it, you can't really locate it because it's empty also, right? There's no object. It's a continuously changing field of sensation, right? Excellent. Yes, who are you?
I'm Peter.
Hi, Peter. How'd you get here tonight?
I drove.
Drove? How'd you know this exists?
I came here with a friend I forgot his name.
Who's that guy?
Yeah. No. Gus Watson is my friend's name. He came for, I think his name's Daniel Ingram. Yeah. It was great.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's how I found out of this. But I've been meditating on my own for quite some time, it's always,
How long is quite some time?
I guess, like since I was a kid. So my mom taught me, get into my life story. So I was diagnosed with ADHD, and my mom was a hippie, so she didn't want to throw Ritalin at me, which they did at my sister, and that didn't work out. So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
And so she taught me how to meditate. That's why I started meditating.
Nice.
It was very utilitarian. It wasn't like a spiritual thing.
Me too. That's great.
Yeah. So, but yeah, recently I actually pursuing the spiritual side of this. And so for me, like, it's very easy to just sort of drift into the space that you're talking about. And things happened tonight that were really different. Like I was feeling my legs like the entire time. And like, then I had this, like, I just had this thing of like, I never move when I'm meditating. I was like, there's a bug in my hair for sure. So I wipe it out. So it was really weird to like be like, all right, I'm gonna play along and go with this thing, and like I was forced. And you were saying, like, look at your mind. Like my mind became extremely loud. It's like yelling at me, like I'm a massive shape. I'm a fractal fifth-dimensional thing. Look at me. I'm water. I'm not. I'm space. I'm cosmic. I'm like, whoa.
You're really concerned about the yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think I've ever like tried to look at my mind, and it was so loud. And then that thing that you were talking about happened, where you were like, "Who's looking at it?" And I was like, I know this one. See the witness. And then I was like, wait. Who? It was really, really fucked up.
Yeah.
So,
That's the goal.
yeah, it was cool though. And then it was like I was like, yeah, I was very outside of my comfort zone, like literally physically uncomfortable. So yeah, it's cool.
Wonderful. Yeah. Notice that even though that seems like an infinite regress, the Hall of Mirrors,
Yeah.
it's not, because your brain figures it out and goes, oh, it's not anywhere. And so it doesn't go on forever. You're not a math machine.
Right.
Yeah. Good. Thanks. Yes. What is your name?
Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Another one.
Another one. I'm Michael T.
I'm Michael spelled fucked up. So.
Okay.
No, I just want to say I really appreciated the extra instructions around shape and color and around finding the mind. That's an instruction that's in a lot of meditations that I do, and I realized when you were giving those instructions that I was getting into like a road pattern for finding the mind, and then that turned the mind on the mind a little bit more.
Good.
So,
Yeah, those are really classic Mahamudra instructions, right? So typically Kagyu lineage type instructions.
in Tonglen, the self-liberate the antidote comes with those instructions. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So that's like core Vajrayana sequence. But when you go at it again in a fresh way, right? All of a sudden, oh, awesome. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Michael. Yes. Anup.
Yes. When you ask those questions about how is your mind, my mind essentially like went that there is no answer to this.
Yes.
So why are we asking? So it actually distracted me the more
Mhm,
questions you
mhm.
asked.
Okay, but notice that that's like that's a thought.
Right.
And what I was asking you to do was not go into thinking, but look. So even if you can't find it, I still want you to look.
Okay.
Okay? Because you're cheating. Otherwise, it's like just hanging out in thinking. Right? So it's like I'm always saying, it's like a where's Waldo? The answer is not, well, I know he's on the page somewhere. It's like, find the motherfucker. And even if you know there isn't one, like keep looking. Okay? It's a different thing. Yeah. Great. Very good. Anyone else have a burning discharge? I mean, question or anything? No. Yes, Sam is back at it.
Yeah, what's a question? That has
A question.
with this
Okay.
space thing, because it occurred to me during the meditation. I didn't think to ask it. I've been curious about this whole emptiness thing I've been hearing about for a long time.
This crazy emptiness thing.
I've
Yeah.
heard so much about it. And I just felt like, oh, is this that emptiness thing, that space, that spaciousness?
It's one way. It doesn't have to be space, but that is why you can find emptiness. Yeah. But in other words, this is empty too. Even though it's not. That's a chunk of metal. It's still empty, right? So it's not that is it. The easiest way to describe it in modern English and modern Western concept is it means something is a mental construction. That's it. So, there's probably a room full of people here, but you're experiencing a mental construction of it because that's how we experience stuff. So you just notice that's a mental construction. That's emptiness. Not that there's nobody here. Okay? But the usual way to kind of go into that deeply is to notice that kind of space, that aware space, because then what was the next thing we did? It's like, notice that now stuff is just appearing on this screen of this spacious emptiness. That's right, like that's the appearance, that's the mental construct. And interestingly, the mental construct and the emptiness aren't, one is not realer than the other. There's a real urge to be like, so the emptiness is the absolute, that's the real thing. But it's not. It's all just as real. But we tend to put all this stuff in a box and then kind of like the flow of experience moves on, but we still have our boxes that we're putting everything in. And that's the non-emptiness, right? So that's what I want you to see there. Really easy way is to find the space. Okay? Good question.